Despite what the vocal minority of crybabies on Spectrum are saying, Star Citizen appears to be moving in a more PvP-oriented direction. If I had to guess, it is because CIG understands that to have an interesting universe, you need to also have a dangerous universe, and in Star Citizen, the only danger presented in the game's current state is from players. Don't get me wrong, I'd love for NPCs to become a credible threat that I have to be wary of and prepare for, but that just isn't the reality of the game right now. And even if CIG managed to make NPCs a credible threat, they'd never be able to replicate the emotional threat that only players can provide. Nobody gets upset over being killed by an NPC, but being killed by a player causes massive psychic damage in people, which often leads to hilarious and memorable outbursts, both in-game and on a Spectrum. Security Post Korea started this most recent trend of isolating PvP players from PvE players. I like to imagine SPK in the universe as a point of interest to visit, but the more I think about it, the more I feel like it was a testing ground for the separation of both PvE and PvP players. SPK has a lot of issues. It's got too many turrets, it's very difficult to get into, it's not very rewarding, a lot of problems, right? But we're not going to be getting into that. That's not what this is about. This is about CIG setting a very dangerous precedent going forward for how the game is going to be developed. We may see more and more content that pushes players away from one another based on their gameplay ideology instead of bringing them together to coexist. And yes, PvE and PvP players can coexist for this game, and they have to for it to be a truly living and breathing universe, a sandbox. Some may argue that PvP players like a dedicated battle space to do PvP, but I'd point out that they already have that. You've got that in Star Marine, and you have that in Arena Commander, and both are pretty empty. So those PvPers, while they exist and while they're very talented, I would say they are the extreme minority in the Star Citizen community. Again, just look at those two game modes. It doesn't take a whole lot to get them going. They're usually empty, and they have like a handful of the same people in it all the time. I think that the majority of PvP-centric players, such as myself, we want to engage in a more dynamic, unscripted, and organic experience within the PU. I know that's why I'm here. Locations such as Ghost Hollow, SPK, and even, forgive me for saying this, Jumptown, those in my opinion, they are the complete opposite of what I consider to be organic player-driven PvP. I don't think that they're bad additions, and I'm not saying I will not have fun doing them. I certainly intend to do them a lot. I'm just hoping that going forward, this doesn't become the standard in PvP content, because all it will actually do is push both PvE and PvP players further away from one another. I like for everyone to be sharing the same sandbox, not cordoned off into their own separate corners. One of the latest PvP changes in 3.19 is the addition of Ghost Hollow. For those who don't know, this is a reclaimer wreck located on Microtech. It's a pretty cool mission. They added sometime in 3.17, 0.2, I don't know. Anyway, you'd go down there, you'd kill some pirates, kill some other NPCs, pick up a box, deliver it, and you're done. Boom, right? Just an excuse to go check out the scenery and the new, to my knowledge, Planet Deformity Tech or some other God Jesus tech they always develop in this game. Anyway, it's now going to be the location of a PvP mission. And the way it works, to my knowledge and from what I understand about the thread that was posted, is you're going to go there and there's like these two kiosks. And you have to hack them and they're going to work somehow in tandem with the comm array. You knock down the comm array or you hack the comm array as well above Microtech. And so long as these are both in sync, they're going to start producing money, printing AUEC like the U.S. government prints money, right? And you just keep grabbing it out and filling up your coffers. And then people are going to show up and try and kill you, get the money for themselves. Overall, a pretty cool minigame, right? To me, this is further proof that CIG plans to keep adding PvP-related content to Star Citizen. I must admit that while I am happy about these missions being added, I do worry about the static and gamified nature of it. Think about how I called it a minigame, right? While this shows that CIG isn't giving in to the malicious Care Bears, my concern, however, is that this will be a means to separate and sequester the PvP-oriented players away from the PvE-focused players. Essentially creating battlegrounds or arenas in the PU where players interested in PvP can opt in and get it at certain locations. This is completely and totally against the idea of a living, breathing, and dangerous universe where citizens interact with each other in meaningful ways. I can already hear you now, right? Are you advocating for the destruction and pirating of innocent traders and miners, innocent PvEers, or whatever, right? And the answer is that is yes. I absolutely am advocating for the destruction, complete and total destruction of PvEers, 100%, right? But you have to understand that the more accustomed you are to danger and the more exposed you are to the danger, the more skills you will learn to better avoid it. From understanding how to take a safer route, how to effectively run away, possibly fight back, hell, have your ship crewed, or, dare I say it, hire an escort. One of the biggest takeaways I'm getting from all this is that we're not going to be getting any sort of hand-holding or player protection mechanics in the game. Much to the chagrin of Care Bears universe-wide, you will have to develop and understand the skills necessary to either fight or run away. Remember, PvP in Star Citizen as of now is completely consensual because you almost always have the opportunity to get away. And before you give me the made-up scenario of 10 pirates with a mantis jumped me or anything else, I'm going to say that if that actually happened anywhere outside of your head, then you deserve to die. Because those people, they put a lot of effort into killing you. And I doubt you're even worth it since most players in PU are poor, dumb, and bad. At least in my experience. Being a victim, crying to CIG, and refusing to understand how mechanics in the game work isn't the answer. Putting your head in the sand and pretending like a mythical PvP slider is coming isn't the solution. Only you can defend yourself and what is yours, and only you can develop and hone the skills needed to survive in the PU. The sooner you realize this, and the sooner you accept this, the better you will be for when the universe does get more dangerous. And it will. You don't like that? Well, don't play. There are a variety of single-player games out there where you can go be the hero of the story. Hell, look at Squadron 42. You can be the hero of that story. But this, the PU, you're not the hero here. You're just a citizen, and you make your own story.